Warning, Hebrews Toys Reviews is not intended for children. It is for adult collectors and people over the age of 18.
Hello everybody, Hebrews77 here for Hebrews Toy Reviews. And today we'll be reviewing a vintage G.I. Joe toy. Last time we reviewed a G.I. Joe vintage toy and I thought it was so awesome that I wanted to continue that trend today with 1983 Airborn, one of the original Airborn paratroopers. The second one in the line next to him was Crazy Legs. And I had Crazy Legs as a kid because he came along much later in the line, I think 86 or 87. But I didn't have Airborn because I was much too young. And at the time, I got G.I. Joes pretty much at random. So, with no further ado, let's check out this review. See what I did there? And here is the 1983 G.I. Joe Paratrooper Airborn. Now, I don't have a whole lot to say about this figure, except he was in the cartoon series, and he was, of course, in the comic book series. But I know he was on several comic book series. There was supposed to be a thing about him that he was psychic, and there was actually a G.I. Joe episode in which his brother was psychic and they captured him and so forth and so on. Before we start talking about the figure, let's talk about how I never had this figure as a kid growing up. Instead, I had his counterpart, Crazy Legs. Now, I think I might do an individual review on Crazy Legs when the time comes. However, when you look at these two side by side, you can clearly see which one is the better sort of military-esque. To him is Airborn. As you can see, if he was to crash and eject and land in a forest somewhere, or a jungle, or heck, even the desert, he would be well prepared to be camouflaged, except for maybe this baby blue, baby powder blue vest or whatever it is he's got on there. But other than that, he looks a lot more militant than, say, Crazy Legs, who would basically be a walking target with his red vest, red helmet, and red patches on his sleeves and their thighs there. But they basically, I mean, if you look at them side by side, whoops, you can see, duck him down a little bit. Well, look, let's get the camera up here. Just do this the old-fashioned way. So you can see they both have helmets which have goggles on them. Something happened to my camera here. Which have goggles on them. They both have their survival field knives, which hang upside down for a reason, because it's easier to pull out. Should have put them on a stand. Easier to pull out this way than it would be to reach up and, say, pull out the other way, especially if you're hanging upside down from a tree or something. The one thing I do like about Crazy Legs as opposed to Airborn is he came with this parachute, which we used to use for a lot of figures. I remember when the movie came out and I used to strap this on Lieutenant Falcon, and there was that scene where they kicked him off the tomahawk. I would reenact that scene over and over again, as well as the scene where Duke was rolling underneath the tank And of course threw the grenade and the thing and boom. Anyway, so we're not here today to talk about Crazy Legs, although the reason why I do is because I do have fond memories of the figure. So let's put him to the side for now, and let's get to the real talk of the town, Airborn. So let's get to this figure. As you can see, he carries a... We'll put that to the side for now. He has a powder blue vest, a green harvest which goes around. I'm assuming that's connected to this backpack. And then he has, of course, a little harness thing here that goes down to around his crouch. And I'm sure that has something to do with the way they had to dress to have the parachute. So let's take off the backpack here. This backpack is actually the same mode as the 1983 Duke backpack. This figure has tan pants with grayish boots and grayish knee pads, as you can see. Oh wait, no, brownish knee pads. Sorry folks. As you can see, his knees bend at 90 degrees. He can rotate his shoulder all the way around, and his elbows bend at about 90 degrees. You can see he has the same brown, here, let's get a close-up of it, brown elbow pads as he does knee pads. And he has a rank insignia on his shoulder here. We'll get into that here in just a second. That's really it. He's got a non-removable pistol as his sidearm. And of course he's got a helmet here which is removable. Ooh, boy, what the hell? Man, that's a lot of effort. Okay, whew. That was on there pretty good. He's got black hair and appears to be sort of a brown skin, and that's because he's Native American. Let's put him to the side. We'll take a look at the helmet real quick. This is the only difference, really. Crazy Legs helmet never came off, and we just about never got it off of Airborne either. You can see it's a green helmet with a visor of some kind, just like Crazy Legs. And we'll put the helmet back on Airborne, because he doesn't look like Airborne without it. And I think the helmet is an easily missing piece, one of the easily missing pieces. Hard to get on their heads just right, just straight. I think I got it all crooked. Let's take a look at his weapon real quick. This is what they say is a dark gray M16, which you could tell it's an M16 if it has this A-shaped sight on the top there. But this one has a bayonet attached at the end there. And for those of you that don't know, a bayonet was more commonly used in World War I and World War II, where they would put their bayonets, where they would put knives on the end of the rifle. And when you were in battle and you ran out of ammunition as you were shooting at the enemy, you would just use this to lunge into your enemy. So, you know, often when you're a crashed airborne pilot, this would come in very useful if you didn't want to get discovered. You just go over and, you know, and that would be that. Now that we talked about the figure and his weapon pretty much in detail, we now get over to my favorite part of the show, the file card. So Airborne is a helicopter assault trooper, codename Airborne, file name Tall Tree Franklin E, primary military specialty Airborne Infantryman, secondary military specialty Helicopter Gunship Gunner, birthplace Navajo Reservation, Arizona, grade E5 sergeant. So the rank insignia that we saw earlier on his arm is in fact a sergeant of a E5 variety. Now let's read his background. Airborne's parents are oil-rich Navajos who indulged their eldest son with skydiving lessons. Talltree also studied law and passed the Arizona State Bar exams, joined the Army, and opted for airborne training, commenting, "I'd rather jump out of an airplane than write legal briefs." Graduated top of his class from Airborne School, Fort Benning qualified expert, Hughes helicopter, chain gun, M16, M60, and M1911A auto pistol. So I guess that's the pistol that's on his leg. Airborne jokes around and gets loose, but he's serious to dead serious. You look at him and sometimes he's looking right through you. Must be the Indian in him. The Navajos call it the far-seeing look. Spooky. Well, I don't know about that, but then the military, they call that the 1,000-yard stare. And, there you have it. There's his background, his file card. I'm not sure what exactly to think about that, but I will say this. Besides, you got Airborne here, and you got his counterpart, Crazy Legs. And what I forgot to mention earlier is that Crazy Legs, when I was a kid, also sometimes doubled for Lift Ticket. They kind of look alike a little bit. So when I got the Tomahawk, I of course had Lift Ticket, and I no longer needed Crazy Legs as Lift Ticket. So then I would just use Crazy Legs as Lift Ticket's co-pilot. So let's put them right next to Airborne as we end yet another vintage G.I. Joe toy review. And there you have it. There's the three of them together. And now my quest to complete the G.I. Joe Sky Striker is complete, as I now have Airborne, I have Ace, I have the Sky Striker complete with parachute and chairs. So who knows what my next review will be. Now, having Airborne as an adult, I reflect back on having the G.I. Joe Sky Striker, and looking on that box and never really having that second figure that went in the cockpit next to Ace. And the picture, of course, on that box was in fact Airborne. And one day I will do a review of the Sky Striker, which I thought I did a long time ago, but I think I might have lost the footage somewhere along the line. And anyway, I could do it 100% better today than I did back in those days. But with that being said, I really had fond memories of playing with the action figure Crazy Legs. And I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did enjoy this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. And whatever the case may be, leave your comments down in the comments section. And until next time, remember, knowing isn't just half the battle, it's the whole damn war. I'll see you then.